I'm live and I'm back with you, and I couldn't be happier. Welcome to the Master Orator, in other words, Otetiani. In this episode, we are looking at getting over traumatic events, in other words, past paralysis. So let's break it down word by word, shall we? And before I do that, let me encourage you to take a moment right now, even to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for doing so. Past paralysis. When I think and consider traumatic events in life, can we all agree that possibly one of the most terrifying events that each and every one of us virtually experienced was learning to walk? Oh my gosh, your big old head taking you on one side and your body taking you that way. And everyone is looking like the baby. Look at Baka Waka Tapa Tapa. That's what the baby hears. Translates to, oh, look at the baby's taking his first step. That's so great. Somebody watch the baby, watch the coffee table, watch. So the baby, the infant, is taking in all this sensory data. It's like, what's the big deal? And then plop, he falls. And as soon as he falls, someone rushes in. And so he's feeling this surge of energy at, I fell. But long story shorter, we all got through it. We got over, and maybe in the process of getting through it, we got over some fears of falling, feeling the discomfort of pain or injury. Maybe that's where fear of heights comes in, or claustrophobia started setting in, all with the traumatic experience of finding yourself on one foot as a toddler and the other foot dangling in the air and trying to not fall prey to the power of gravity. Now, let's step it up a bit, shall we? Of course, truly traumatic things happen. Um, in this title, the title being, oh, I forgot the title. Getting over past events, in other words, past paralysis. I want to first express sensitivity and regard for anyone who is in a state of paralysis or has a loved one in a state of paralysis for whatever reason. Just being sensitive and appreciative that that is a unique and special and mighty story that is being told by those who are going on to live productive, creative, invigorated lives despite a physical paralysis. That being said, um, traumatic events. I believe maybe the first traumatic event I experienced I was 4 years old, and there was a house fire around the corner. And it was told that the little children that were toddlers were playing with matches and lit a fire and went into a closet for safety. Of course, when we went by that house, it was burnt to the ground. I I have a great apprehension to this day about lighting an incense, because when you light an incense, it seems like such a available flame, and I have this very great fear of starting a fire. So trauma could be something that happened to someone else. Could be a loss of someone significant in childhood or a childhood friend. Could be abuse. It could be bullying. There's any number of genres of trauma that can just start, that can occur in childhood and start us on our way to living with a measure of past of paralysis from the past. Paralysis from the past. Um, you know, Paralysis is a halting, a ceasing, a stopping of motion or action, activity. it's important to be free to arrive at the fact that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's just a fact. Excuse me. I have a shoulder. When I look at traumas in my life, so much of the carrying of that trauma was heaped and steeped in a desire to keep a certain idea alive, a certain concept alive, an inability, a lack of maturity and experience to realize that everything changes. Everything changes, and some things change constantly. And we are like the seasons, like the trees. The trees are ever prepared to go from spring, summer, winter to fall to winter, excuse me. We are also. We are designed to evolve. We are designed to acquire new ways of thinking. We are designed to acquire new perceptions. And all of these are for the purpose of us continually being in a forward motion, in a state of forward motion. Because when we look at, let's just look at the journey from childhood. Oh my goodness, I remember there was a coloring book I had. I worked diligently to stay in the lines. And this was going, I mean, in my mind, I can recall in my mind seeing a great future of this coloring book being an ever-present treasure, representative of my diligence and my creativity and my willingness to stay in the lines, be a good girl. Then there was a set of jacks that I had. When I first got the set of jacks, they were red and blue and silver. And by the time I finished playing successfully, because I was the jack mistress, I tried playing with them for a while. They were nicked. They were more silver than they were red and blue, which surprised me because I thought the red ones were red and the blue ones were intrinsically blue. No, they were painted. There was my favorite ruler that I used in geometry. I mean, I thought that ruler was going to be with me forever. I was just going to go around the world measuring stuff with my 12 inches of ruler. And then there was a pair of shoes or an outfit, prom night. We have all these little earmarks of change that also indicate something has been left behind, perhaps. Simply left behind, because you can't ride on two trains at the same time. You cannot ride two trains at the same time. So looking at getting over traumatic events. First of all, let me render due regard that when I have heard the phrase "get over whatever was going on in my life," I had absolutely no appreciation for that. It did absolutely nothing for me. It did not help. So I'm not saying getting over the traumatic events as if that's the action that I'm purporting that you should take, that you need to take, that's going to make all the difference when you take it. I don't believe you can actually get over the past. I believe the best we can do is leave the past behind. And you know what? We don't have to leave the past behind. All we have to do is resonate in the present and foam at the mouth for the future. Yes, let's foam at the mouth for the future. Between foaming at the mouth for the future and resonating in the present, how on earth is the past going to be able to sustain its power to paralyze? It's not. Trust and believe, however, that it's going to be for quite a while a cup half full, cup half empty operation. Some days you'll see that glass so half full, great, good, and wonderful. Other days, it's just flat out half empty and should be emptied, but we don't know how to do it. We don't have the courage to knock the glass over. We don't have the courage to pour it out. Notice I said we don't have the courage. That has nothing to do with strength, power, ability. The courage to determine that which is in the past no longer will hold sway over you, no longer will have power over you, is a huge proposition, but it's easy peasy once you say, hey, this is what will please me. It will please me to stand looking forward, looking in someone's eyes and seeing them, not translating every aspect, every element of the immediate surroundings to fit a template in my head. Because the template is generally in your head, it's not in your heart. For example, if you have an abusive situation, you have a loved one, a situation where a loved one is abusing, they're someone they're supposed to love. The heart is not having any problem loving the person while the abuse is going on. The heart doesn't stop its operations, its destinations, its predilections. It doesn't. But in the head, as we talked about the noise, in our head, these things become resounding cymbals or drums or horns blaring the same old tune. And then, what about when you find yourself trying to fine tune that same old tune? Make sure it stays current. I don't know. Well, actually, I do know, but I'm not going to go into any that. And my intent is not to really travel down that little rabbit hole. Let me take a moment to thank you again for viewing. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for allowing me to be with you. Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I understand that when you subscribe, it enables you to get notification immediately when a new episode of, in other words, Otetiani has made it to the scene. So I'm going to get ready to wrap it up here. We're talking about getting over traumatic events. In other words, paralysis, past paralysis. I dare say we'll touch on this a bit more next time. And until next time, I trust you are deep breathing. I am.